Hello, Namaskarundi. Welcome back to another video. So we are continuing the Talk with Toppers Unfiltered series, and we are in the second episode right now. So in today's video, we are really mostly focusing upon the VARC section of CAT. So yeah, like without further ado, let's start this video. I'll be having a chat with one of my close friends with respect to the strategies and the things that you can adopt in the final leg of your CAT preparation. So yeah, this is Gogul Sunil. Let's get started. Okay, so today we are going to discuss VARC, and I have a 99 percentiler with me who have fairly scored well in the VRC section, who will be the right person to give you some gyan on how to attempt and everything. But again, it will be a very informal and candid conversation. Yeah, so I have with me Kevin today, who's one of my close friends in SPJMR. We both are Malu people. So yeah, so happy to have him in this particular video. Yeah, so before going further, let's have an intro, like basic stuff about you, and then we can move forward.
Yeah. Hey Gokul, hope you're doing fine.
Oh, as
And
formal.
so something about me, I was a batchmate with Gokul, even though not a classmate. Had some good time with him at SP Jain. And after my B school, I now work with Flipkart, and I am a management trainee here in the grocery department. So that's pretty much about me. I don't think so. This video is about me. So yeah, let's get going, Gokul.
Yeah, but just introduce your cat score and all those stuff also.
Yeah, so my overall percentile was 99 on the dot. That is a 99.00. And my VARC was 99.2 percentile. So yeah, that was my strongest section, and I believe that is what helped me catapult myself to that score. And without the VRC section, I don't think so it would have been that easy to, score this well.
So okay, like we'll move on to the VRC bit now. So again, like I mentioned earlier, the focus is on three key parameters like the last video. One is the strategy bit, one is the practice one, and the third one is the mentality aspect. So strategy, we can start with the strategy aspect. So in strategy, it will be better if we can discuss like what are your strategy towards the last leg of your preparation for CAT, and also second part, what was your actual CAT test taking strategy on the D-Day, especially in VRs. So two parts. So we can start with your like experience, and I will pitch in whenever.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, VARC itself is two sections within itself. So, if I had to break it, it'll be VA and RC, right? So, it's two different sections put together. So, if you had to broadly take my strategy into consideration, be it on the day or on my last few days to the final exam, it was basically more on practice. So, practice helped me define my strategy. And the strategy was that I will go with the RC section first, skim through the passages that are there, and then figure out the topics that I'm more familiar with, and then try out those RCs, and then try out the rest. And once I close my RC section, move into the VA section. Again, VA, it was only through practice that I could define my strategy, because during the last few days, it was more about figuring out the ones that I was easy, I was, more familiar with, the concepts that I was more familiar with, whether that was para jumbles or para summary. The ones that I am more familiar with and more easy to answer, the ones that I took in hand first. And that happened because it helped me understand ki when it came to para jumbles, that that was my stronger forte compared to the para summary part, if I had to take in the example, or than regular grammar. So the strategy that I defined was I'll go this direction: jumbles first, then summary, and then the regular grammar part. So as I would say, through practice comes the strategy. Only if you practice will you know what strategy to apply to. And be it the day or during the last few days of my prep, I would put it in two simple words: RC first, BA second for me.
Okay. So if I want to just sum it up for the interest of the audience, so in terms of your preparation bit, mostly it was practice, like solve as much as RCs you can, solve as much as questions in VA as you can, etc. And when it comes to the D-Day solve, it was mainly to attempt the things that you were comfortable first. So if it's in VA, you are comfortable more with para jumbles, so you will go with that and then summary and other stuff. And RC being your strong forte, you'll start with that, and that too, if it's some comfortable RCs, you will attempt that first. If I'm like want to put it correct, and actually it was kind of similar for me, but yeah, changes here and there. Even RC was something that I usually start my preparation, I'm sorry, my attempt with. But again, I was not at all a big, RC person. So I usually tend to get tired and doze out during, reading the entire passage and everything. So what I used to do is I'll start with some interesting passages. So there are multiple strategies to solve this. Some people will say, go through all the first paragraph of all the RCs, then go through the questions, see if the questions and the passage is kind of easy, then try to attempt it. But I was more on the side key, like if it's a science or tech or sports kind of passage, I was very comfortable with it. So I'll start with those passages. And then the philosophical and history kind of passages I'll leave for the later part. And I also did, it was a mix and match kind of a strategy. First I'll go with RC, then maybe I'll go with the para jumble kind of a thing, because again, it is not having any negative marks. So well, but para jumble also something is something I liked in VA. So then I'll just come back to RC, then again go to summary and all those stuff. And among para jumble and I think odd one out, I think odd one out was something that was I think helpful for me in VA section. So yeah, that is overall my kind of take on this. But what was your score actually on for VA if you remember? VRC.
So that is a tough question. If I had to
On
say,
the
I don't.
40-45 mark or above that?
I guess it was above that, the overall score, because
Okay.
that's how I cracked the 99 percentile. I don't exactly remember my
Yeah.
score, but yeah.
It should be like 45 to 50 range mostly for.
Yes, yes, yes. I think so it was something around 48. I'm not sure what is the
Yeah.
exact score, but yeah.
I think mine was around
Yeah.
scale score was around 33 something, which was 93 percentile or something for VRC.
Okay.
So mostly it
Hmm.
will be above 45 for sure. So yeah, like
That's that.
good luck. And was there, so again, to boil it down in this particular strategy bit, even though the time kind of target score that we were actually aiming was different. He was aiming obviously for 45 plus, and I was in the 33 kind of range. So I think it all comes down to the accuracy part, right? Like the strategy was kind of similar and everything, but you had more accuracy on this section, so you got like good amount of marks. So I think that is something that can be a focus, right, in this particular section, unlike other sections.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's true because it's not only about strategizing, right? You need to get your strategy right as well. So
Hmm.
strategizing is one part, getting the strategy right is the next part. So yes, accuracy plays a big role. And again, I'll reiterate, it only comes through practice. How do you improve your accuracy? Trial and error. You keep learning each time you make a mistake. So that was the strategy. I kept practicing more RCs, and then through that you improve your accuracy. And on the day, I was lucky also because you luck can go either ways. On that day, everything fell in
Yeah,
place.
that is a
And,
different thing altogether. Yeah,
but yeah, practice is the only way that you'll be able to improve your accuracy, and that's how you'll be able to get to that score. So if you think VARC is your forte, then you'll have to put in the practice and that will help you devise a strategy and that will in turn lead to better accuracy is what I think.
cool. Now, like, let's move on to the next bit in, transfer. I mean, just extending this part because we already touched upon the practice bit. Again, coming deep diving onto the practice bit. So, was there any particular material, or again, we are focusing more onto the last leg of preparation. So, maybe last 1 month or last 2 months. You can extend it a little bit, but mostly focus on this part. So, what were the resources maybe you used to practice? So was it a newspaper? Was it some like article like Aeonicis and everything? So like a bit of discussion on your practice bit.
Yeah, so like I told you, for RC it's through reading any material for that matter, and that's how you practice. And something I told you is I pick my RC topics based on what I'm more familiar with.
Hmm.
So I also started reading those topics that I like or that I'm more familiar with. And
Hmm.
I don't know if you know, I still read the newspaper even back in school. I mean, back at SP during college days, during class hours, something that I like more, that I enjoy doing most is reading the
Right,
newspaper.
newspaper.
So yes, I still
Oh,
do.
right.
So
Wow, wow, wow. Okay, okay.
so that is something that gets me going when I have nothing else to do. It's something that it's kind of a hobby for me to read the newspaper, and I believe that is kind of a strong foundation for me when it came to RC solving, because in the newspaper you get a lot of topics and articles that are written or summarized in the way that you would find in your RC
Yeah.
comprehensions, right? They look very similar to a newspaper report. And let it be science or sports or politics or whatever it is, it's very similar.
Yep.
So, reading newspapers is one big thing. And something else that I like reading, being a motor enthusiast, is the AutoCAD journal.
Mm-hmm.
So, that again helped me, get into a lot of vocabulary and new terms and a third point of view on how an article is written, because the POV of a third person and
Yeah.
the way the article is written is something that you can find in RC comprehensions. So that is something that I did. So what I would say is, if you like a few topics, start reading those topics so that you get a hang of reading.
Mm.
And then if you want to diversify, read new topics that you think would make sense in the RC context. So yeah, read what you like,
Mm.
then push it even further, and read what you don't like to crack RC.
Mm. And what about VA? What sort of material did you use? And also, how much involved were you in mocks, both sectional as well as full length mocks during the last leg of preparation?
Yeah, so when it came to mocks, different people have different strategies, and I had my own. My simple strategy was that the number of mocks or the frequency of mocks that I took hadn't changed for the last 6 months of my prep. So the last 6 months of my prep until the day, the number of mocks that I took were almost the same, because I believed in consistency rather than increasing the frequency towards the day. So I used to take a mock, be it sectional or a full length mock, weekly twice. So that used to be my mantra, and I guess it worked out for me. And for VARC in particular, if I had to say, when it came to sectional mocks, I also tried taking just the RC section a little more
Mm.
than the VA sections, because RC comes only through practice and reading different kind of material. And
Mm.
what's so special about these mocks or these prep material is that they're very similar to the real exam, the kind of
Mm.
material that's there. More than what you can find through reading in the newspaper or journals or stories or online articles. The prep material is very, very similar. So be
Mm.
it historical topics or philosophy for that matter, which is one of the toughest topics in RC. They have a lot of content in these prep materials, and the more you read those or attempt those mocks, which are very similar to the ones on the day, I guess you'll get a little more clarity on the kind of topics that could come your way. So that was my strategy when it came to mocks, be it sectionals or full lengths. I
Mm.
used to take 2 mocks a week.
Okay. So again, so mocks can be considered as one of your like main go-to thing for your practice as well. And yeah, if I were to sum it up, you didn't change your frequency like some other people do. Like you just consistently maintain the number of mocks that you are doing, and also a special focus on RCs because the more RCs that we can solve, the better it is for, getting hang of that particular section. Okay. So that is what I've understood. Now let's move on to the final bit. I think I've emphasized this a lot in the previous video also. The mindset part, like how ready were you in terms of CAT? I think it was not your first time, right? This CAT was not your first
Yeah,
time.
yeah, it was not my first time. It was
Yeah.
not. It was my second time,
So,
second
like,
attempt.
what changed from the first year to this year? And in terms of mindset and getting ready for that D-Day, like I have already mentioned in my previous video that I was not a morning person. So I used to, I got the morning slot by, by luck or by, being lucky or unlucky. But yeah, I had to wake up early. So I was trying to do that, trying to take mocks in the same schedule and everything. Lot had to lose a lot in this particular year because it was a do or die kind of an year. Same was shared with by Murli also, like it was a do or die year. So in keeping all this in mind, what was your like in terms of mindset? Did you do something or like what is your take on it if you didn't do anything?
Like if you had the first slot in the morning, I had the third slot in the evening, so it was
Mm.
pretty chill.
Mm.
So I had the whole day before me. But the only difference is you start getting reviews and responses
Yeah.
on how the first two sessions were.
When it comes
So
to
that
pressure, I
could,
think the third section is having the highest pressure, and the first section is
yeah,
having the very least pressure because you're just doing and you don't know what's the outcome. But the third slot is like you know almost how the pattern is, but people and tentatively, I think third slot, when it comes to the normalization score and everything, they'll get a little messed up during the third slot or something. Like it will get tougher or something like that.
yeah, might be that might be true. But like you said, yes, you start getting responses and reviews from people who have written the exam earlier in the first two slots, and that could play little on the pressure that you hold. But I think so it's very important to stay calm during that time because
Mhm.
either ways you're gonna attend that paper, so be it difficult or easy or whatever the previous responses where you will anyways have to attend the slot that you're put into, so you don't have a choice about it, and that's the mentality I took forward on that day because
Mhm.
I was pretty sure that the RCs that I'm going to face, which I wanted to crack with the highest accuracy, would be pretty much similar to the prep material that I, worked on and all the reading that I did, and it turned out to be that way pretty much. So even on reviewing the other two slots, it was very easy to see that all these slots had somewhat, similar topics that you would have come across if you have practiced enough. So if you have done that practice, you can be a little at peace before going to exam, before going to the hall, and then cracking those questions. And I don't know if, like you said, you had the morning slot and you're a morning person, so that took a toll on
Not
you.
not a
So
monopolist.
like, yeah, you're not a morning person, that took a toll on you. So might be. So when it comes to people, if they get the first slot, they wouldn't have the stress of knowing what the other two slots are. So
Mhm.
they can go with a free mind. And similarly, it was my do or die year as well because I dropped out of my work and then I'd come in to give in this attempt. So yes, I had to give my best, and there was no looking back. And
Mm.
I went in with this peace of mind, thinking that let's give it our best shot and see where we will land up, and then take it up from there. So luckily, I'm here sitting here today with you, host SPJ, having the success conversation.
And I also I
But yeah.
think when it comes to VRC, the big part or the best part about VRC is that it's the first section. Whatever you do, this will be your first section, and there is no baggage that you are carrying on to this section because unlike your DALR or quant, mostly I think this is something that is related to quant because most of the people get fucked up in DLR section somewhere to the other, and they'll carry this baggage to the quant section, and then will they have the chance to spoil that section as well. But VRC being the first section, just you have to just go in a fresh mind and everything. So I think in that way VRC sorted in terms of mentality. But coming to the slot wise, again it depends on person to person. Some people will be, they want to understand how the pattern is and everything, because in our case there were a lot of changes. So I think the DLR, there were sets with 6 questions. The first introduced in our
Hmm.
time used to be like
Yeah.
5 or 6 sets with 4 questions each. They have changed that, so it was good for other people to know. Some, I think I know a lot of people who have just missed, like there were 6 question ka section. They just solved the 4 question wala section, sorry, the set, and then later realized, okay, there were a section which was easy, or a set which was easy, which had 6 questions to solve. So these kind of
Mhm.
things might be something that some of the people will look forward to. So for them, maybe a second slot or third slot can be a thing. But in terms of pressure and everything, again, maybe the morning slot will be something that you can attend with a clear mind and everything. So that is there in the mindset bit. So we have pretty much covered from strategy to your practice to the final mindset. So before winding up, do you have any particular thing which can be like related to ERC or CAT in general? More like not like an advice, but like some realization maybe that you got after this CAT and everything, if you can share, and we can wind up after that.
The only realization that I got is cat can be cracked only through consistency, and consistency here I refer to as practice. So consistency in practice is the only key way to crack. I mean, crack cat, because if we are consistent in our practice, even though we start, let's say, at a 75 percentile or an 80 percentile, we can surely hit a 99 plus if we are consistent with our practice. Because
Hmm.
the only way to crack this exam is through practice. So, be it VARC, be it quants, be it DLR, everything has only one solvent, that is practice, because it helps you get familiar with the pattern of the exam. And like you mentioned, our year had a different pattern,
Hmm.
and only through attempting mocks, that is again only when you practice a lot of mocks, do we get the chance of skimming through questions, understanding which questions to work our way through, and then come up with the best possible matrix for us. So yeah, keep practicing, guys, just keep practicing.
Yeah. So yeah, mostly I think we have covered pretty much everything. And if I want to sum it up, this particular chat in one word, it will be practice. So this is something that you can take away, at least in the VRC section. But again, like he mentioned, we can extrapolate that to other sections as well. Practice is a key thing, and I think that is something that we can do at the last leg, rather than just writing a lot of mocks, worrying about your percentile and all those stuff. You can just practice your problems and see, and let the validation will come on the way. This is what I feel, and I think he also agrees. So yeah, that's it for this video. We'll be shortly coming up with the remaining section, which is the DLR section for CAT, and also I'm planning to do some of the videos with some of the other examination toppers, which is like your SNAP, SAT, NMAT, etc. Again, if it happens, it happens. I won't give you any hope as in it will happen at this particular time period, but I'll mostly try to come up and get some friends on board. So yeah, again, all the best from my end and also from Kevin's end for your preparation and as well as your exam. All the best, guys, and we can see in the next video. And thanks again, my brother, for joining. Let's hope to see in some other videos also maybe soon. So yeah, that's it, guys, for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do subscribe. So this is Gokul V. Sunil and Kevin Peter Paul signing off. Let's see you in the next video.